Logan Paul, Prime, sues Ryan Garcia for defamation. Logan Paul is going head-to-head with Ryan Garcia, but not in a ring, but or the WWE. The WWE superstar, Prime Hydration, just hit the boxer with a defamation lawsuit. The Maverick aired his frustration on social media just minutes ago, claiming his drink company is under attack by false narratives being thrown around on social media, and it's time to take action, with King Ryan being the first on the list. Today we begin to hold those accountable who've damaged our brand for attention while we correct the narrative. Paul said on Instagram, we're here to stay and will continue to change the world of hydration with bold flavors and creative innovation. In a lawsuit, Prime lays out Garcia's alleged wrongdoing, pointing out on a social media rant about how the drink will kill your guy's sick brains, mess up your guy's liver, and hurt you big time, among other harmful side effects, without supporting the claims. Okay, so what do you know about Prime Drink, Vinny or Brian? What do you guys know?
I've tried it twice, and both times it was nasty. I didn't like the taste. I didn't like any. And by the way, I heard in one drink the caffeine level is ridiculous. I can't handle that type of caffeine, but I wasn't a fan at all. I mean, marketing and all that stuff, obviously, but what's actually in it.
Rob, can you go to the WAPO story? I just texted it to you.
Have you heard, Patrick, because as a businessman, you'd appreciate this. I had somebody explain this. I don't know if I'm right, but I had a guy who's in the know who is a business guy. So when you have a drink like Prime, one of the things is you build recognition the way they've done a great job of doing. So, without going into it, I'm probably not going to drink. I'm not, my kids usually like Prime. I think for me, if it's not an organic protein shake, as you can tell, I ain't touching it, or raw milk. But one of the things I'll do is this. There are 4 beverage companies. Pepsi, Coca-Cola, I think it's Dr. Pepper, and LA Luminary, something like that. There are 4 major, and they have shelf space. And on that truck, they have a slot, an empty sort of space on that truck. You buy that, you can buy space on that truck, and then you can buy shelf space to put your new drink on there. Now watch this. This is what I'm not saying Prime does this, I'm just saying this is what some beverage companies will do. I didn't know this. I got a beverage company. It's gonna cost me, start out $250 million no matter what. I gotta buy shelf space in different supermarkets. I gotta buy space on those trucks to distribute that particular beverage. Now, I want to be able to say that my sales are very good. So what I'll do is I'll have, say, this beverage on the shelves. Then I hire a company to buy those drinks, to buy that off the shelves. And that is legal. I can then give a company, I think it's called, one company is called Ibotta. I'll give them $100 million or $10 million to go buy all of that and do these promos of buy one, get one free.
Oh, wow.
And that creates what you could call demand. I mean, I'm selling this and that's on my books. Now I can go and raise more money because my product is selling well. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, and they do that with books. They do that with a lot of different things.
Really?
They do that with books. So we were even talking about, I don't want to say the book, Rob, but you know what I'm talking about. They'll give New York Times bestseller lists with an asterisk saying there was one order of 50,000 or whatever it is.
Weird.
Say, so,
Yeah.
but and by the way,
dishonest.
let me tell you what happened. There's even a company that helps you become a bestseller where they have 50 buyers of the book in 50 different cities that go to show Barnes & Noble. These are guys that you pay 50. You know how you do focus group? You know the focus group model where you go, so what do you think about this? Here's $75. What do you think about this? Here's $75. And you sit through a 2-hour thing. They pay you $50 or $75 to go buy the book off the shelf. You show the receipt, you bought the book, come in, and then you do what you do with the book. And then Barnes & Noble gets a order saying, wow, we sold out all the books at 50 locations in 50 cities. Wow. That bumps you up. And so there's
Dude, that's so
and it's legal.
crazy.
And that's legal.
No, it's actually not. So what happens?
Oh, it's not.
Meaning when you say it's legal, of course it's legal. But when they find out with the ranking that you did that, tainted permanently.
Yeah, well, Triller. So Triller raised something like $423 million. That was the Jake Paul fight. And I guess from what I've read and what I've seen, and this guy was telling me as well, because he's in this particular part of the business, he said, I think they bought something like 220 million bots, and then they found out that was the case. If you look at this, but that's why Triller now is basically got $90,000 in the bank.
This is why. For example,
but they raise money based on.
I'll bring this up to Minek. To kind of see how this thing work. Okay, and by the way, you can put up Minek for Brian Callen's Minek. He's on Minek. You can Minek with him and ask him any questions you want to ask him. That's his QR code.
I've been having a good time with this.
Yeah. So the thing with Minek is, user response rate. Everything is about actual activity. You can say you have people that join your website or download the app. How many are active? The key is activity. Right now, the average response rate for last month on Minek, when you ask a question, 94% of the time they respond to you. 94%. 50% of the time, the answer you get is within 24 hours.
Yeah.
So think about that. Where, again, I can send a cold, whatever, email or any of that stuff. On Minek, you get a response like this. A lot of these things that come out and they try to fabricate a way to get the eyeballs, you can do that. I don't think that's what Logan Paul is doing. I think Logan Paul legit is selling a shit ton of.
I believe that. I don't like bashing the Paul brothers. I actually like those guys because I think what they've done. I'm a fan. So I think what Jake is doing and stuff, and Logan. I don't like. People love to bash those guys. I don't like. They work their ass off.
But I will tell you this. Here's what I will tell you. If you want to pull up the WAPO story, this is the part that, as a drink company, you have to answer to. Okay, Prime Energy has 200 million. This is according to WAPO. It has 200 milligrams of caffeine in it in a 12-ounce can, which is about 6 times the amount of caffeine in a comparable can of Coca-Cola.
Damn.
And kids are drinking
this.
That's
the problem.
That's the problem.
Give me those numbers.
Let me read this to you one more time, okay? Rob, you can go lower. It's in. Just type in 200. It'll go to it. Control F200. You'll find it. It'll go to it. So, if you, Rob, why don't you go back and search this word, Prime Drink Caffeine Levels. Go on Google, type in Prime Drink Caffeine Levels, and you'll see what numbers it'll come up. Prime Drink Caffeine Levels right there. Zoom in. 200 milligrams. Jeez. Prime Energy has 200 milligrams of caffeine in a 12-ounce can, which is about 6 times the amount of caffeine in a comparable can of Coca-Cola. Wow. It also has taurine, inosol, iodine, all these other things that it has in it, as well as energy drinks. So nobody is saying, they're not doing well. They're actually doing I think even their revenues are over $2 billion.
I believe it. Yeah. I mean, these brothers have done a great job.
But parents need to know that your kids are drinking 6 Cokes every time they drink a Prime.
That's banana.
That's what parents need to know.
And also, besides filtered coconut water and caffeine and all the flavor agents, electrolytes, what have you, it also contain, I don't know if you said it, PBD, sucralose, which is an artificial sweetener that some studies have linked to DNA damage, weird, and a leaky gut, which I don't even know what the hell that means. But if it's not good, damaging your DNA, and again, but more power to that.
One thing about sucralose, that component of the drink that they put, for example, the main reason why you put that than a different kind of a sugar, because it makes the flavor better. The problem with energy drinks, if they don't taste good, people are not buying
at all.
Correct. So number one rule, as weird as this sounds, the marketers will come and tell you, you need to make sure they taste good, or else you're not going to sell it.
That's right.
So if you type in Prime Energy Drink top line revenue. Prime Energy Drink top line revenue. Okay. There you go. Look at this. $1.2 billion in annual sales in 2 years, and that's an old story.
The number 2 hydration beverage
behind Gatorade.
Think about Gatorade is the king.
Yeah.
But we were
impressive.
In the PBD group chat, maybe yesterday we were.
Yeah.
There was, can I tell that story?
Which one is that?
About a guy who was maybe going to come on the podcast, and what he talks about with what's in these drinks. He was talking about Celsius. Did you see that clip?
Oh yeah.
Tell me about it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because
it was Brecca.
Yeah,
Gary
because
Brecca.
there's a chemical in Celsius that actually blocks the ability to break down the caffeine. Right? So the caffeine stays in your body for 5-6 hours.
So he basically was saying, hey, listen, we know the energy. Look, there's an energy drink war going on right there. Gatorade's the king. Prime has showed up out of nowhere. Yeah, and he basically saying, if you see the following word, cyanocobalamin, you can probably play it here.
That's Gary Brecka.
It's like, dude, stay away.
This, Rob.
Yeah,
play
go
it.
ahead.
Yeah.
Heard of a Celsius energy drink? Celsius energy drink has 4 times the amount of daily cyanide that a human being's meant to ingest. 4 times. That's just one sample. So drink Monster or Bang. I mean, drink Bang, not Monster or Celsius, right? Bang has methylcobalamin. This has cyanocobalamin. So, and we wonder what, we're putting these toxic chemicals. This is, where we get the hydrogen cyanide? Don't make me take you to that website because you'll just get up and leave. Do you know where we would get hydrogen cyanide? Because these facilities that actually compound this B12, they don't even pay for the hydrogen cyanide. You know where they get it? Human sewage treatment plants. Yep. It is the waste from a human sewage treatment plant. It's called sludge. It's foamy yellow sludge. They scrape it off the top, they dry it, turn it into a powder, ship it to a facility, synthesize it with a metal, and put it in your body.
This is allegedly. This is his story.
Gary Breck is also the guy who said that the best thing you can do to melt fat off your body is to sit in ice water. And there's 0 human studies to prove that. They took rats and brought them up to, they almost died in hypothermia and they lost some weight. So I'm sorry, that's a very simplified idea. Gary Brecker's not a chemist. He's not a chemist. You could say that about a lot of chemicals.
You're familiar with what he talks about?
Yeah,
it sounds like you are.
That's not that relevant. He uses all these things like cyanide and stuff like that. No, sorry, I just don't buy it from him.
So would they be able to get him in trouble?
I don't think Celsius is necessarily bad for you. I mean, good for you. I don't drink it. I'm a coffee guy, but overall, I think the relevant thing is that if you have that much caffeine and kids are taking it, or you have a chemical that stops the breakdown of caffeine, that's why your heart's going to be beating for 5 hours. Yeah. You tell me if that's good for you.
What do you think about Brecka? It sounds like you watch him, you follow him closely.
I just am friends with too many scientists. And especially nutritional scientists who work with the biggest athletes in the world, like LeBron James and guys who really need to see results. So when you have friends that run the biggest performance sports lab in the world, and you listen to them talk, what you hear from them is things like this. Watch. If you're a scientist, you hear them use these words. Lane Norton and those guys, they'll use words like, I don't know, sometimes, maybe, it depends. When I hear somebody talking about, with all due respect for Gary Breckfast, I don't know him, but when you hear somebody talk about how good for you and how effective a cold plunge is at losing weight and melting fat off your body, and then they sell cold plunges on their website, I tend to go, things that make me go, That's all.
CNC Music Factory right there. That's all.
And I just, again, Gary Brecka, who helped Dana White, and I don't know him. I mean, and I'm sure it probably worked. Calorie restriction and all the things. God bless. And a good businessman. But I think he has a biology degree. We'd have to look it up, but I don't know that he's a scientist. And I don't know that necessarily when I hear people talk in definitive terms about certain things, I always kind of go, especially when I have scientist friends who go, bullshit. That's all. So,
Rob, go to his Wikipedia account.
Yeah.
Go to
Gary Brecka.
Now, Dana White is...
I'm not seeing one for Gary Brecka.
There's no way. There's no way he doesn't have a Wikipedia.
There it is, Rob. Good job.
They don't have.
You ready for tonight, Rob? We got 2 shows. Are you ready?
Are you ready, Rob?
All right.
Get your shit interesting, Rob.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know his background from...
No, I know. So here we go. So the co-founder of 10XL Systems, Gary Brecka, holds degrees in biology and human biology, but he is perhaps best known for his work with high-profile clients like UFC president.
So just stop for a second. So he's got his degrees in biology. Was that a BA? Because
BS in biology.
Okay, so he's got an undergraduate degree in biology. Okay, I have an undergraduate degree in history. Don't ask me about history. I ain't a historian. I'm serious. I mean, this is where I kind of go, this is interesting. What's your background? What did he do before this? What was he, a businessman? What was his thing before this?
He was in the life settlement world.
Yeah.
He was in the what?
Life
settlement business.
Life settlement. What does that mean?
I can tell you all about it if you want.
Life settlement is you say you have a $5 million insurance policy. Guys like him come. You can't afford to pay it anymore.
I'm already glazing over.
Let me tell you what happens though.
Yeah.
They come and they say, you're how old? 78. They'll do a testing on you. Okay, we'll buy your policy $5 million for, let's just say 20%. I'm just giving a
$1 million
number.
cash.
We'll give you $1 million. You give us the $5 million policy. You die. They get the $5 million policy, so they lost $1 million.
We
and then
pay the premium
they
of
do the math,
$50,000 every year.
Right, and then they do the math on when you're going to die, and the death benefit goes to
Why am
them.
I going to
life
ask? Why am I going to
expectancy
ask that guy about health? Why? That's not
that's
somebody.
a
I'm.
valid
But then
question.
let me flip it on you. Let me flip it on you. And I'm not a Gary Brecka guy. This is not a guy I've broke bread with. We saw him one time at the UFC thing in the back, and that's it. I would flip it on you and would say, you know, why should I take advice from Rogan on ivermectin?
You shouldn't.
But believe it or not, Rogan did a lot of good for a lot of people.
I agree with you, but I still wouldn't take my advice on anything from somebody who's a non-scientist. Joe's a comedian. He'll tell you that himself. Don't listen to me. I'm a comedian, and that's what I do first in a podcaster. So anybody who's taking their advice from comedians or podcasters, anybody who's taking their advice from somebody who's not a credible scientist who's done peer-reviewed research and human-controlled studies, you probably are taking, you better be careful about that stuff. Again.
But I would be careful with the other side, because during COVID, we were also told to trust the science. So to me, I love what you said about the guy that said, it depends. Maybe.
Yeah.
Sometime.
Yes.
Not all the time.
Yes.
That's what I like as
COVID
well.
created a lot. I'll never forgive them.
That's right.
I'll never forgive them. They put my daughter in a mask for 2 years. They've lost people like this have lost my trust. I am right with you on that. I was against this mask policy and shutting down the economy from a bunch of bureaucrats who don't pay a price for being wrong, who've never started a business in their life, who have no idea what it is to build a brand over 30 years, who have no idea. They're just bureaucrats. I have a huge problem with that, which is why I'm a conservative. I believe in small government, not a giant, massive bureaucracy with no accountability. We can get into that. What I'm talking about here is I've seen that guy talk about a wand that you can put in water to hydrogenate your water. I'm sorry.
A wand?
A wand, sir. You want to hydrogenate, bring it up. You want to hydrogenate your water with a nitrogen wand. These are the kinds of things that make me a little.
Click
there
on
it
that
is.
guy. Click on what the guy.
That's my boy right there, Lane North.
Click on that.
Lane's a PhD and a world. Watch this.
It's Friday, and so you know what time it is.
Stop for a sec. World champion powerlifter right now. Holds the world record of powerlifting, and he's a PhD. And he's a guy who says, the reason I don't have a yacht is I'm never going to tell you that this is a catch-all, this is all good. I'm not going to say sugar is bad for you across the board. I'm not going to do that. There are a lot of studies that show this, that, and the other thing. So go ahead.
Go ahead and play from the moment it starts.
Watch this.
Alima. So what this will do, inside this stick is something called mother water. It takes a year to make this. I travel with this so this thing doesn't break. So you can either use it to stir a glass of water for about 30 seconds, or you can stir this entire pitcher. And what it'll do,
mother box?
in about 30 seconds, is it will restructure the water. Remember, water doesn't just have chemical properties, it's got physical properties. Yeah. If you've ever seen any of the research on praying over water or actually speaking to water or playing music to water, we now know beyond a shadow
I do that in the
of a doubt
bathroom every
that
morning.
water will organize into these beautiful, like, hexagonal structures. It's not only more hydrated, it actually changes the charge and makes the water more viable. So this will restructure and make the water what we call coherent. 30 seconds.
Coherent? I thought we were done with this with Mindy Peltz. Okay, guys. I don't like charlatans and people that make it up. I really don't. But at a certain point, when a guy is stirring a wand in water, saying it makes it more coherent, and changes the structure of the water, you deserve to get scammed. I'm sorry. My hands have been changed.
And he's selling that. He's selling those.
Did you buy that? No, of course you didn't. So why would you buy this? Yes, water organizes itself into a structure based on hydrogen bonding, but if you could change the structure of the water significantly, it just changes its state. It either goes into gaseous form or it goes into ice, crystalline structure. It changes the charge. What, like, based on what?
You can pause it right there, Rob.
You understand?
Well, guess what?
So
I'm
by the way,
returning my wand.
So I've never done that in my life. Have you? I've never done that. I've never said, you know, I have an app right now that's gonna change your aura. This is where is your pain? In your shoulder? Just hold
on his back,
for a second.
on his back.
I have to hold this there a second. No, lick your lips, and then we have to get you in black panties actually, because I gotta, like, shut up. Come on, dude. Come on. There's a limit now.
What was
bro.
the term for in the old West when the guy would sell you the elixirs?
Yeah.
and
Snake oil salesman.
Snake oil salesman.
The water becomes more coherent.
Is that where you're going with
water
this?
becomes more coherent.
Ryan, he
sir.
sold a lot of guys that are your friends. I mean, he sold a lot of,
All I'm saying, Patrick, is we got to look at the evidence.
we're on the same page.
What you're saying is, I don't know, sometimes maybe
who
allegedly.
knows?
Things that make me go, That's all I'm saying.
You don't remember Eddie?
That's all I'm saying. I don't want to cause any problems.
For this weekend, we have a full-on new merch drop being done today, this weekend. This hat I'm wearing, let me show you guys what's special about this hat. The last time we did numbered hats were this. This is the numbered hats we did. These were limited out of 200, okay? This is the actual last one that we kept, 200 out of 200. These hats sold for $99. They sold out within the first couple hours. If you go on eBay right now, Rob, and you type in Future Looks Bright hat, they're selling these at $350, $499, $999. No joke.
On eBay?
Of course, because they're numbered. They're limited edition.
350.
That's one of them. I think there's a few more. Maybe that's the only one. Look at the top if there's a couple more, Rob. There's one at $499. There's another one over there even at $999. You pick and choose what the numbers they are.
It'd be funny if you saw
But we are releasing look at this green and
Oh,
black,
sick.
Vinny.
That's sick.
We're releasing these limited edition, 1 out of 250. And the year on it is going to say 2024. Obviously, it's military green. And on top of that, we got a bunch of other stuff on there for you to go out there and order. Here's what we're doing. This will not be discounted. These hats will not be discounted because they're limited edition. And first come, first serve. You go place the order, you get it. However, for Memorial Day weekend, anybody that places an order for $79, I think can you go back to the discount numbers? You get a 20% discount, 79 plus, 25 on 199. You get 35% on 399 and up. First 25 people that place an order for $400 or more, I FaceTime call you. You literally are going to get a FaceTime call from me for those that placed the order. If you're watching this listening to this on Spotify or Apple, go to vtmerch.com, vtmerch.com. If not, there's a QR code. Go to the store, place the order. I see more people wearing Valuetainment gear and Future Looks Bright gear than ever before, and I absolutely love it. I'll stop by and take pictures with people that are wearing this gear. If you love the brand, if you love America, if you love capitalism, if you love freedom of speech, if you love free enterprise, this brand represents that. Support the brand. Go place the order. Looking forward to seeing you guys, sport the gear and represent this in the marketplace.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.